Hello lovely people! Now, as you know, I am a huge fan of vintage clothes, vintage makeup, vintage furniture. I mean, technically that is antiques, but still, the whole shebang, except vintage style, not vintage values. Thank you, Dandy Wellington, for that one. And the reason that I am so enthusiastic about all things vintage is probably because I grew up in awe of my grandmother. So, for today's video, we will be following some authentic tips and doing my makeup exactly like my grandmother. Maybe I will be amazing at this and we will all learn something new. Maybe I'll be awful and we can all share in the joy. I will probably not look as good as her. This is a lady who, receiving her wartime uniform, tailored it just right at the waist. Also turned a broken parachute silk into an evening gown because, you know, waste not, want not. My American nana came over to Europe as a nurse during the Second World War, where she met my papa, who was a doctor with the British Army, and I believe the story goes that they met over an operating table on the front lines, and they were married 3 weeks later, which is exactly the kind of wartime attitude that films like to romanticize. Want to spend the next 60 years together, or possibly 2 weeks, depending on how this war goes? I do! But they both made it out, settled in England, and she was the perfect epitome of the classic grandmother. The type who hand makes Play-Doh and craft projects and always has your favourite cake waiting for you when you come to visit. Even though she had more grandchildren than can fit on 2 hands, she knew all of our cakes. She always had them ready. She also smelled amazing and had her own entirely powder pink bathroom with a pink bathtub. I too am drawn in by a pink bathtub. My grandmother was also a magistrate at the children's court and sat on various boards. She loved crafting and writing, and thanks to MyHeritage, I now know that she was descended from all sorts of exciting people, including barons, dukes, pirates, even some kings, but also some really cool women from history who stood up for what they believed in. And that's not the only thing I've learned in my fascinating journey into building a family tree using the sponsor of today's video, MyHeritage. MyHeritage is an easy-to-use, no-fuss DNA kit that takes just 2 minutes to use and can then uncover your origins, new relatives, and a world of ancestral intrigue. Science really is fun. My results show me that I am actually more Scandinavian than just having a Swedish-Russian grandfather would suggest. 56.3%, so now I know better what type of American my grandmother was. MyHeritage covers more regions than any other DNA test, which means that I've been able to find out specific regions of where my family settled and spread across the globe. I love that it's not just about your ethnicity, but also where those ethnicities can be found living now. You can build this incredible family tree that just delves into the past using their extensive historical records. Using historical records, I have been able to take my family tree back 35 generations and find far-flung family members I never knew about through their DNA matches. I particularly love that after building my family tree, I can more easily work out how I'm related to people I share DNA with, which can be tricky. Are they your parents' second cousin or your grandparents' third cousin? And if neither parent has done a DNA test, then which side is the person on? But MyHeritage has a very clever feature called Theory of Family Relativity, where it takes the person you've been matched with, cross-references the people on your family trees or your historical family surnames, along with historical documents and other family trees as well, then gives you this theory as to how you're related. If you too would like to see what you're made of, or how far back you can trace your family tree, please tell me if you get to 35 generations, then you absolutely have to click the link in the description or scan the QR code that has been on screen this whole time and use the code JessicaBF to get a special Black Friday price of only $29. It's an exclusive offer for just a really short period of time for just my viewers, so please jump on it now, jump on it! In an attempt to become a proper 1950s lady and not use 20 different things on my face, we will be using this incredible magazine. Yes, it's called What Every Woman Should Know, which was sent to me by a lovely subscriber called Neve back when I had a PO box. Hi Neve! It is a collection of newspaper articles from the 1950s focusing on lifestyle lessons that are apparently intrinsic to being a woman. And while some of them are still pretty useful to the modern world, yes, being able to darn and keep wearing your favourite item is pretty great. Some are less so, and I'm pretty sure just included to make us all giggle, such as How to Look English, which is about a young American lady with beautiful bones who made her name modelling for the women of Detroit, her hometown. Yet, When she ended her teenage marriage, she decided to aim for the big time and came to England because the English look, apparently, is all the rage. And she has perfected it. The look is quite simple to copy. You tilt the chin, arch the eyebrows, and suck your cheeks in. Once you've mastered the snooty, sucked-in look, you can't help but talk with an English accent. There you are. Tilt that chin, arch those eyebrows. You'll be English in no time. Or page 42's The Girl Who Caught My Eye. Was she a film star, a model, a debutante? She had me guessing. In which the journalist spots a girl in a department store and has no idea who this fabulous woman might be until they start chatting and she realises the reason that she's so svelte and gorgeous is because she's paid £6 a week and is always hungry. And isn't that a lesson for us all? Okay. She can't afford one single impulsive buy. Everything must coordinate with what she owns and the life she lives. Yeah. Against the day when real hunger threatens, a packet of spaghetti and a bottle of tomato sauce are kept in reserve. If you're really hollow, you chuck that into a saucepan and hey-ho, you fill up. Why are we selling this like it's so great? And wait, tell me if this starts to sound like something you've heard a friend complain about before. Our wives too independent. Not that part. That's not the part you've heard your friends say. Two of the nicest people I know, married 6 or 7 years, have 3 children, all under school age. The woman, who happens to be slightly older than the man, used to have a particularly good job. She earned almost as much as he did. She worked right up to the arrival of the first baby, which helped with the deposit and the furnishing of the house they wanted. Duly installed, they reckoned they should be able to manage on the one salary. They reckoned, however, without rising prices and the arrival quickly of 2 other children. Increasingly, they find it difficult to balance their budget. The woman, exasperated, thinks it's high time she went back to work. The man disagrees. We didn't have children to hand them over to domestic help. At least wait until they're old enough to go to school. Tale as old as time. The woman, normally good-tempered, sees the sense in this, but she does get jumpy under the strain. He says we must do without the things we can't have, but it always seems to be me who does the doing without. He still has his golf, a weekly night out with the boys, and some very pleasant business trips. I have given up everything except my single solitary Saturday smoke. Oof. We are going to be following A New Face for Christmas. It's apparently a last-minute lesson on how to banish those Christmas shopping cares from your expression and put your best face on for the festive season. So it felt like the perfect thing to start Advent with. Now would be a good time to point out, before anyone else points out, that I look a bit tired because I had to spend the night in my child's bed last night as he has been having nightmares about Christmas. As apparently things related to Christmas are terrifying to him. So that's good. That's good. The Nutcracker, absolutely fine. Absolutely fine. He's perfectly all right with that. The idea that a wooden Nutcracker comes to life and dances an entire ballet, he's fine. He's cool with that. A small girl shrinks down, watches some toys fight some mice who are wearing clothes in this ballet, fine. Absolutely okay with that. The idea an old man comes into your house whilst your parents are asleep and he knows where you live. He knows what you've been up to all year long. Terrifying, completely terrifying. Yeah, so we're trying. We're doing our best. We're putting our best face forwards, as the magazine insists we do. Of course. The morning, carefully clean your face again after the night. Done. And use a good tonic for dry or greasy skin as required to close the pores before you proceed with the makeup. This helps to better fix the makeup. Now, I will be honest, I'm not sure what kind of tonic they were using in the 1950s, but I have a very good Charlotte Tilbury glow toner. And that is what we will be using today. And also, especially if you're putting SPF on your face every day but not putting it on your neck, what are you doing? Your neck is very thin skin. Look after it. Protect it. Yes, it's another Charlotte Tilbury product. Did it come from my advent calendar? The main smell I remember from my grandmother is actually lavender. So I should probably be covering my face in lavender right now. I say that, but maybe it's because she seemed to have baths very often. Like twice a day bathing type, and thus smelled like lavender. But had lavender deodorant been a thing, she probably would have worn lavender deodorant. With the aid of a slightly damp sponge, apply a colour base all over the face and neck. Be careful not to forget the corners of the nose and the inside corners of the eyes. Pat with the sponge so as to retain complete uniformity of makeup. Finally, free the roots of your hair, of your forehead, from traces of makeup with a small brush. So, as a person who occasionally gets gifted very expensive items of makeup and beauty things, there are quite a few things where I'll get given it and I'm like, oh my goodness, why would that be that price? That is ridiculous. That is the most expensive blah 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 I've ever come across. And then sometimes I get given things and I'm like, oh yeah, no, that is really good. Oh, okay. And then I have to keep buying it. And one of those things, even though you absolutely can't tell right now, present moment in time, is this foundation. Also, the sponge is bright blue and probably not, period authentic. But can I powder my eyelids? Oh, it feels very unrealistic because most of the women in here have monolids or hooded eyes. And yet, apparently they're not powdering their lids. Application of the rouge. Do this preferably with a brush. Check. For a long face, put the rouge on the high cheekbone. I think we can agree I've got a long face. High cheekbone and carry it towards the ear. For a round face, apply the rouge in a rough triangle shape just below the eye. Tag me on Instagram at Jessica Out of the Closet with your triangle of rouge. Now, I have two different rouges that I have considered. One of them is the Estée Lauder one, as you can see, used, is quite pink, and the other just looks adorably vintage. Look at that, from the balm, is more on the orangey side. I know, you're probably thinking, the orangey side? That makes sense. That would be our vintage blush. However, skips to a different page. Don't have June faces in January. Have you noticed how many women are going around with apricot colour faces these days? They don't look suntanned, they just look wrong. The types I have in mind are no novices, but obviously women who usually understand how to make the best of themselves. Intrigued, I set out to solve the mystery. The answer, it seems, is that these women are trying to wear a June face in January. The quality of light in our grey January days affects milady's makeup. The deep peach tones of foundation and powder, so becoming on sun-warmed skin under sun skies, go yellow when plastered over a pale skin and seen under a white light. Okay, we're gonna go with the pink. On my cheekbones, moving towards my ear. I don't look like I'm wearing any rouge because you can't see it because my face is very long. Yeah, I decided my brush was too small. The lips. We're going to lips already? Draw the outline with a makeup pencil, then apply the rouge with a brush. Lift up slightly the corner of the lips to give a more youthful appearance. With my lovely Charlotte Tilbury Pillow Talk eyeliner. What? I don't have a dark lip liner? What am I doing with my life? I definitely have lip liners. Do I not have lip liners? That feels like a thing I would have. I do have lip liners. That would be wild. Ooh, that one's not looking great. Okay, well I thought I had a lip liner. I don't have a lip liner. Do we move on to the next thing? Do we stay on track? No, we should. We should continue. We should continue. Stick to it. Stick to it. Is my problem. I always get sidetracked. I have searched my various makeup bags. These ones. And these ones. And the case I can't even lift off the floor. And come to the conclusion that I don't have any lip liner. I guess because I just put my lipstick straight on my face. We are going to be using eyeliner. We're going to be using eyeliner pencil and making the most of it. Wow, that's really brown. Is it? No. Is it dark red? Lie to ourselves. I have none of the confidence when it comes to drawing with lip liner. How do we go up at the corners? How? Did it not have a sharpener? See, my light died in horror at this situation. Don't ask me how we got there. It just, we have, and we're very pleased. Now we apply the rouge with a brush. Yes, it's a brow liner brush. It's what I've got. It's what we're working with. Is the most asked question, where are your things, Jessica? Yeah, that's my most asked question as well. Now, I think obviously they wanted a darker liner, so let's go for a paler stick. We could go really quite pale. Charlotte Tilbury one there, that's a kind of nudish. Or do we go for red? Let's try the paler one, shall we? See how it looks. Yeah, okay. Plan B. I've decided to add a tiny bit of red. So this is a Bobbi brown. Here we go. What's really great is that all three of these are just going to turn into slush on my face. And then the moment I try and eat or drink something, it's just going to... We could be here a while as I slowly build this up. So, it ended up a raspberry colour, but don't hate it. We can work with it. Next, the eyes. To obtain the popular doe eye look, draw a fine upward line with a grey pencil. I don't think I have a grey pencil. To lengthen each upper eyelid. The thin pencil line on the under eyelid begins nearly halfway across and is continued beyond the eye in an upward curve. Fine line follows the natural curve of the upper eyelid, starting from the inner corner and ends in a slightly upward curve, joining that of the under eyelid line. I don't have a grey liner. I do have a chocolate truffle from Bobbi Brown. Why are we starting with the under? Long, halfway long. It meets... Okay, we've done the underline. I say yes, like you're right here with me. Yes. My inner corner is very much in my eye. My makeup looks quite nice in person, but I am aware that on camera, I am a white ball of light.
And the message follow.
Oh. Hi! Yes, I did that. It is my background. Oh, you're doing your makeup too. I'm doing my makeup to look like my grandmother.
No, I'm just gonna put a tiny bit of this small brush on Laude because Laude didn't put this. There we go.
Thank you. And then it does not say anything about mascara in this book at all.
I need to show it as a person.
Then it just says go to eyebrows, so eyebrows? Either by plucking or with an eyebrow pencil, shape your eyebrows so that they start with an upward line and end with a slight curve.
Do you want any of this?
Oh no thank you, but you can use it if you like. Okay. To give you a young and wide awake look. It goes on your cheeks, that's blusher. And I have to start, if they have an upward curve, start them much lower. Okay, do I look wide awake and youthful?
Go!
Do you become a photographer like your mummy? Or do you love makeup like your mama?
Firefighter. And...
Fair enough, become a firefighter, yes.
And
a
farmer.
Oh, of course, a farmer. That is what you've always wished to do.
Boom! 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 Upstairs in bubbles.
So here we go, here's the look. What do we think? What are we thinking? Do we like it? I personally feel that it ages me. But also I find vintage makeup does tend to sometimes make you look a little on the older side. I think it might also be due to the utter lack of eyeshadow. Whatever's happening with my eyes right now is a lot. They're very, there's no definition here in my eyelids. I will say though, nailing this incredible bright white face. Those curved eyebrows that just keep on going all the way down. Yes. Still numb, by the way. This patch of my face, for anyone who's following along with the numbness of Jessica's face. Yes, still numb right here. Let me know in the comments below how your grandmother did her makeup and how she dressed. I am intrigued to know. And if you'd like to know more about your grandmother, don't forget to check out the MyHeritage link down in the description if you haven't already. Or you can just scan this handy QR code right here. Simply enter the code JessicaBF to get a special Black Friday deal of only $29 per kit, which is a really good deal. And then you can find out more about your grandmother's face and how much your face looks like her face and her grandmother's face and her grandmother's grandmother's face and her grandmother's 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 face. And why does your face look like that? And why does her face look like that? So many questions. Also, Should I cut my hair? Because I'm kind of liking this. I hope you're having a wonderful start to your Decembers, whether you celebrate Christmas or holidays at this time. I am going to be trying to put out 2 long-form videos a week during December. Not quite the Vlogmas of old, where we literally made a long-form video every single day, which looking back is really quite impressive. But we will be doing lots of shorts and trying to get as much content out there and having fun in a Christmassy vibe as possible. Whilst life smacks us in the face. Oh, you'll find out about that soon. You'll find out about that soon. Yeah, keep watching to the end of December. See you in the next Vlogmas video. Mwah.